everybody, glad to see you again. Thanks again for tuning in to another video. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about cybersecurity risk assessments, things like that. Before I get too deep into it, hey, I'm super excited going to another concert this weekend. That's kind of my wife and I's fun little hobby that we do, is we go to a lot of concerts, and I wear earplugs because I'm getting older and I have tinnitus, so I have to wear earplugs all the time. But we're going to Brandon Lake this weekend. If you're a fan of Brandon Lake, shoot me a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. What's your favorite song that he sings? But I'm a big fan. I think he's got a lot of good songs out there, so I'd love to hear from you. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about the most common findings in a cybersecurity risk assessment for CIS control number 7, which is continuous vulnerability scanning. So just to kind of give you a brief overview, I don't know if you guys remember, but I've done a series on this, and it's all based on, like, if you were to hire a company to come in and do a cybersecurity risk assessment for your company, what are the most common findings that those risk assessment folks find within organizations? And I broke it up by the CIS, by the CIS controls, because there's a lot less controls in that one than NIST. So I'm using that kind of as my framework to walk you through. And so I went and spoke to a cybersecurity engineer for one of the service providers that does risk assessments, and he told me what their most common findings are for each control of the CIS framework. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. It's control number 7. What do they find most often in companies when they go to do a risk assessment? But before I get too deep into it, quick plug: if you like my recommendation on the best risk assessment companies to come and give your company a formal risk assessment, just reach out and contact me. I'm happy to help. More information on that at the end of the video. Also, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. Okay, so what are the most common findings with CIS control number 7, continuous vulnerability management? Obviously, if you're not continuously monitoring things, then that's a big deal, right? So I asked this engineer who goes in all the time and assesses companies and gives them a formal assessment, what are the most common findings with this control? And what he said to me was that the thing that they find most often is companies are actually continuously monitoring, which is great, but they're not continuously analyzing anything. So that's what he said you don't have to continuously analyze, you have to continuously monitor. But sometimes companies get overwhelmed because they're like, well, we're not analyzing it, and then they just kind of push it off and they never analyze it. But you want to analyze it periodically. Okay, so and then there's also things you can do to automate things that they're finding. So for instance, you can automate new things that are finding. So the snapshot that you took on the analysis maybe a month ago, what is being found that's new compared to a month ago? What are the differences? So you want to capture those. You can capture those automatically. And then once you capture those differences, you can actually rate those differences in terms of risk. So if you find a difference between 30 days ago and today in terms of the continuous monitoring, that's great. But if the difference is so slight and it's really low risk, it's obviously not going to go up to the top of the list of things to do. But if it's something that's within what you'd call high risk area, then that's something that you need to work on right away. So those are the 3 things. So make sure you're monitoring continuously, analyze occasionally, and set it up to automatically analyze occasionally so that it's just pulling out the differences it's finding from time to time. And then set up ahead of time some risk ratings of different categories of risk, so that when you do get a difference that pops up in the analysis from 30 days ago, you'll know right away, is that something that we've considered a high risk for your company, or low risk for your company, and that will tell you the priority it gets. Is it something that's going to be handled right away? Is there something that's going to go on the to-do list to do sometime in the next month? All right, so I hope that helped a little bit, give you some insight, some things you might want to clean up before you get a formal assessment, so that those are just some easy things you can do, so you don't want to pay for someone to come in and give you a formal assessment and they just knock away at some easy things that you could handle even before they got there. So hope that helped a little bit. If you like my recommendations on the best cybersecurity vendor to quote for a formal risk assessment, reach out and contact me. I work with all the major cybersecurity vendors, and what I'll do is I'll ask you a few questions that will reveal to me which niche you should be focused on and which vendors that you should really be quoting. And I'll introduce you to those vendors, the best reps at those vendors to work with. I'll oversee the quoting process to make sure you get the best pricing out of your chosen vendor. And the nice thing is you don't have to pay me anything. The service providers pay me my broker fee, so you don't have to pay me anything. So there's absolutely no reason to not at least reach out and get my opinion on this stuff. All right, I hope this helped. If so, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. That'd really help me out a lot. I really appreciate it. And I will see you on the next video.